Okay, guys, let's talk fourth position grand plie. Spoiler alert, I don't recommend it. Now, before anyone gets upset, yeah, I grew up doing fourth position grand plie. In fact, I taught it in most classes up until probably just over a year ago. I mean, that's how we start ballet class, right? Demi, grand in first, second, fourth, and fifth position. I am a should we be teaching ballet from dancing only, anatomically, or should we be updating our anatomy and physiology now into account and really working our anatomy with and physiology, bodies, not just trying to fit our bodies into shapes in the way one would try to fit a square peg into a round hole. Now, when I used to teach fourth position grand plie, I would usually give the option, especially if I was teaching adults or more recreational students, the option to do, 2 more demi plies or a roll through rather than a grand plie if it bothers your knees. But here's the deal. It's actually kind of bad for everyone's knees. And since our knee is like one of the biggest joints of our body and it's really important for dancing, why do something over and over again in every class that is putting it in a vulnerable position that can lead to injury? When we do plies and grand plies in first and second position, both hips are in the same plane, right? Talking about the anatomical planes of your body. When you go to fifth position, there is a shift, but it's a slight shift. And when you go to fourth position, it's quite a significant shift for your hips. And no matter how great your turnout is, you're working in 2 different planes then with your hips. And because you're making that shift in your hips, it's going to affect the joint directly below it, which is your knee. And not to mention your feet and your ankles and any kind of rolling or torquing that might be happening there to make that turnout happen in that position of your hips. So now you have to take someone's anatomy and their alignment into consideration, right? What they're already able to do, how the body is shaped, how their bones insert into their other bones, their muscles and all of that thing. So I'm not saying that no one can ever do fourth position grand plie. I'm saying, why are we doing it all of the time and just making everyone do it when it really isn't a position that we're using in regular ballet? Demi plie, yes, we use it all the time. I don't throw fourth position out. We really work on the demi plie position, keeping the alignment there and really feeling what you should be feeling so that we're not allowing the pelvis and the core and all of that alignment. Because what I see when I see people do grand plie is you'll see the back knee drop, you'll either see the pelvis tip forward or a twisting kind of the hips. So I do have tips if you're gung-ho on doing fourth position grand plie. In fact, I was making a video about it over a year ago when I started really doing the research and decided not to put it out there at all, because I think there needs to be a change in the way that we approach it, that we don't want to just say, well, this is what we've always done, so this is what we're always going to do, when we have the science coming out to say differently. In fact, IADAMS, which is the International Association for Dance Medicine and Science, advises against grand plies in fourth position and is actually coming out to say that maybe grand plies should be saved for later on in the bar anyway. Which is why, if you take my class, you may have noticed that I also don't do fifth position grand plie at the beginning of class. I put it usually in the second tendu, or sometimes not even until rond de jambe, because that transition from first position to fifth position is a big one that we don't put enough attention on, and unfortunately we then lose a lot of alignment. 41 of you said that, of course you do grand plies in fourth position, and 23 that said that you avoid them. But I did get some messages of people who say they do them, but they feel awkward or they're uncomfortable or they try to avoid them, but it's expected of them. And that's just why I want to keep having this conversation. So I actually asked in a ballet teacher Facebook group that I'm a part of, and I noticed that the majority of the ballet teachers there said that they don't do them anymore, that they don't recommend them, that they're not good for the knees, that they're not really useful for much, and they're doing more harm than good. So I thought that was really encouraging, because I kind of think that it's an unpopular opinion, but maybe it's not, and I'm just catching up for it. So I love having these conversations, and I think the most important thing, and one of my top priorities as a teacher, is to have you dancing longer and stronger and injury-free. So we just really want to approach dance using our brains and coordinating it with our bodies, so that we're not just assuming that ballet has to be bad for your knees, bad for your hips. I mean, how many times have you heard that? I know I have. So let me know your thoughts below, and if you want more information, please reach out.